Isn't it funny also how the same people who always tell us we need to care, to act, to do more about climate change don't really seem to be keen on making big changes in their own lives themselves? Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to give you President Joe Biden. No, seriously, he's yours for the taking. Just kidding, sorry, I wish. But check this out. The U.S. Congress recently passed a spending bill authorizing checks to be cut to the tune of 1.7 trillion US dollars. That's more than 2 trillion Australian dollar dues to keep the U.S. government going. To give you an idea of how absurd this bill is, it includes $3 million for an LGBTQ museum in New York, more than $3.6 million for a Michelle Obama trail, and authorization for the creation of a Ukrainian Independence Park. Great. The bill also sets aside $200 million for the Gender Equity and Equality Action Fund and $7.5 million for studying, quote, the domestic radicalization phenomenon. Also, the word salmon, yes, the fish, appears at least 48 times. But this, friends, is not even the most absurd part. No, to enact this behemoth piece of legislation into law, it had to be physically signed by the president, who happens to be on holiday on the Caribbean island of St. Croix, where he and Dr. Jill Biden and the gang plan to ring in the new year. Which means that some poor schmuck had to get on a U.S. government plane and fly down to this island paradise with the bill printed out in his carry-on luggage to get Joe Biden to put his signature on it. Of course, just the other day, Biden was tweeting about the existential threat that climate change poses. But while millions of Americans are suffering under energy shortages and a massive winter storm that has left at least 60 dead, the Bidens will be staying rent-free at the luxury island home of major Democrat donors, billionaire couple Bill and Connie Neville. How lovely for them. Not surprisingly, the media has given Biden mostly a free pass on this one. Just compare how CNN covered Biden's trip, which they described as a final opportunity for the Bidens to rest before coping with the big challenges of the year to come and maybe even a re-election campaign, versus the way they treated Texan Ted Cruz when he went to Cancun when his state was facing a massive weather disaster. Cruz was forced to concede that his trip was a mistake. But Biden, well, just let them eat cake.